Last game week I said Salah's the best captain against an injured Spurs defence. He went and scored 21 points. I also said Isak's a better option than Palmer. Against Everton, who I said had a strong defence, Isak went and scored 17 points and Palmer blanked. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any future captain picks. Salah returns to the shortlist against Leicester, so does Palmer against Fulham, and Haaland's on the shortlist for the first time in quite a while against Everton. All three players on the shortlist have the home advantage. These are the top three big hitters in the game, so we can expect the stats to be pretty impressive, and they are. Unsurprisingly, with his recent form, Haaland's got the worst stats on the shortlist, but if you look at him last season and how good of a player Haaland is, he is actually quite far behind Salah and Palmer, especially in the output department. To be fair, I did call it at the start of the season. His output was well above his expected numbers, and I did say there would be some regression, but I didn't predict anywhere near as this much. To be fair, he does get one less point for every goal scored, and one less point in the XG, and I do think that is impacted by Rodri not playing. He is getting less chances, and less quality chances, but I do feel like there's not really much of an excuse when City's team is so good. Both Salah and Palmer have outperformed their underlying stats, Salah much more, but the underlying stats are just as promising as each other's, so we can expect a similar output from them both going forward, maybe slightly more from Salah. Like I've said for the past couple of game weeks, Salah doesn't take direct free kicks, indirect free kicks or corners for Liverpool. Palmer's a set-piece specialist for Chelsea, so he takes all three. And Haaland does take direct free kicks occasionally, just like Isak last week, but not often, and it does depend who's on the pitch. All three players are nailed on pens. There's no competition on the probability this game week. Salah's got the highest anytime goal scorer odds, the joint anytime assist odds, therefore he's got the highest anytime return odds, with only a 23% chance of blanking. However, it is important to remember that these odds are based on the assumption that each player plays 90 minutes. Salah has actually had a drop in his expected minutes this game week as an absolute one-off. Palmer and Haaland haven't, and you'll see that soon. It's safe to say that there's no drop-off in Salah's fantasy football fixed points projection. His figure is 10.3 this game week. That's probably the highest I've seen it all season, and without double game weeks it's very rare we see it that high. On FPL Review it is a lot lower, it's 8.2, and the height of 10.3 in the bar chart does skew it. 8.2 doesn't look that far ahead of 7.4, but in a single game week, being 0.8 ahead is a decent advantage. By comparing the opposition's defence, we can see why Salah's points projections and odds are so high. Leicester's numbers are almost as bad as Salah's numbers are good. That's what Palmer and Haaland have unfavourable attacking fixtures against Fulham and Everton. I keep banking on about how strong Everton's defence is. It was a clean sheet last game week against Chelsea, a clean sheet the game week before against Arsenal away. A few months ago I said Everton's defence is about to get strong. That's whilst it was weak and Branthwaite was coming back in the team. And since then, Everton have kept the most clean sheets in the top 5 leagues in Europe. So just a bit of advice, if there's any fixture difficulty ratings that you see where Everton's green for attackers, I would question the integrity of the data. If you want to see my fixture difficulty ratings, they'll be revealed in my team selection video. Anyway, back to captaincy. Before we conclude, we're going to carry out a quick risk assessment. All three players get less rest in the congested schedule. Salah's got the lowest expected minutes, and I think that's because there is more backup on the bench now. These fixtures have been coming thick and fast. He's not had much rest, and I think he's at a slightly higher risk of rotation against Leicester at home. I've seen enough data to make an informed decision. I think Fulham's defence is decent, but it's not as strong as Everton's right now because the numbers that you've seen earlier included Branthwaite not being in the team, and he is playing right now. Plus Palmer's underlying stats are more promising than Haaland's as well, so I think Palmer's the second best option this game week. And despite the slight drop in expected minutes, I think you'd be mad not to captain Salah against Leicester at home. You won't want to miss my team selection video because I'm trying to make it 7 green arrows in a row. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it.